Piku, on behalf of the entire test prep team, feel privileged to extend my warm welcome and gratitude to our dear students, our revered parents, our distinguished guests, and our worthy speakers for today's much awaited Seedhi Baat, a direct dialogue with IIM's Delhi University, Masters Union, and the leading universities. As we have played a pivotal role in facilitating the academic journeys of over 1,000 students to dream universities abroad. Moreover, Pratham sticks by the resolute step to mentor students on concrete grounds of ethics, untangling their career dilemmas. Now, let's begin today's event. Today, we have 3 different panels from the top-notch management schools and the leading universities. So let me introduce you to the first panel. We have with us Dr. Mullah Ramizur Rahman. Please give a big hand of applause for Dr. Rahman. Dr. Rahman, can we have you on the stage please? Now let me talk about Professor Rahman. Professor Rahman is an assistant professor at the Indian Institute of Management, Bodh Gaya, in the area of finance and accounting. He is presently the chairperson, MBA, Digital Business Management, and previously held the position of the chairperson of IPM at IIM Bodh Gaya. An alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and the University of Mumbai, he has published research papers in reputed journals like Technological Forecasting and Social Change, International Review of Financial Analysis, Journal of International Financial Markets, Institutions and Money, Finance Research Letters, Journal of Economic Asymmetries, Energy Economics, and the list goes on and on and on. He has been awarded the Outstanding Student Award for MBA class of 2015-2017. He also won the Best Paper Award at ICIMIA Conference 2017 by IEEE Bangalore. IIM's Silver Medal for Best Paper by Association of Indian Management School at 28th IIMS Convention 2016, Ranchi, and Best Paper Presenter Award at India Conference 2016. So we welcome you to this event. Now we have the moderator for this panel, who is none other Mr. Binit Binod. Mr. Binit Binod, if I can have you on the stage, sir. Again, claps should not stop, sir. They need motivation because they are going to share a lot of things with you today. Mr. Binit Binod is a management graduate from KG Somaya Institute of Management Studies and Research, Mumbai, and has done his graduation in engineering from Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, Ranchi. He has worked with reputed companies like Tata Consultancy Services and Coca-Cola in his formative years of his professional career. With his experience of corporate world and his knowledge of engineering and management studies, he stepped into the education field in order to mentor and train students in a professional manner in order to enable them to realize their higher potential. He has been active in education domain for almost a decade, and the motto of being in this field is to help students excel in academic pursuits. He strongly believes in Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja, which means success only comes through efforts. Students, it's for you. Success only comes through efforts. There is no shortcut to success. So again, let's welcome both of them on the stage with a huge round of applause. Over to you, Binit, sir.
Yeah, so a very good morning to one and all. So before we start this discussion, मैं आपको अपने ऑडियंस के इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए एक चीज़ बताना चाहता हूँ. हमारे देश के जो स्कॉलर्स हैं उनका ये मानना है कि जिस तरह से व्यक्ति के विकास की ज़रूरत पड़ती है उसी तरह से व्यवस्थाओं की भी विकास की ज़रूरत पड़ती है. And in that light only, right now we have new National Education Policy 2020, which is a big change from the traditional education system currently in this third decade of 21st century. पिछले 10 सालों में हमने ये देखा है कि हमारे देश में हायर एजुकेशन में there is a lot of change when it comes to coming up with new programs, innovative technology, and the emerging programs which could lead to a very great career, right? उसी चेन में आप शायद आपको पता होगा कि हमारे देश में for the last 10 years, even more than 10 years, हमारे देश में 6 ऐसे IIMs हैं, prominent IIMs, जो कि 5-year integrated program in management की डिग्री कोर्स ऑफर करते हैं. So that's a 3 years of graduation and 2 years of post graduation, that is MBA. ये 5-year integrated program in management का जो कोर्स है, ये 6 IIMs ऑफर करते हैं और उसमें से एक IIM है IIM Bodh Gaya, which is a prominent IIM which started the program in 2019, and I believe, sir, the first batch is, it passed last year only for the IPM course. So इस panel discussion में we'll try to dig deep into the IPM program, और मैं कुछ आपके behalf पे कुछ questions सर से पूछूंगा, and we'll try to learn from the insights the sir will be offering us. And also by the end of the session, I'll encourage all the audience out here that if any question you have, you can ask the question, right? So podium will be open for all of you to ask question from our honorable guest. So पहला जो मैं insight sir से चाहूँगा, the first question I would like to ask is, IIM Bodh Gaya launched this program, IPM program, 5-6 years back. Sir, I would like to just want you to share your views that how come the program outcome for a student who is doing 5-year integrated MBA at IIM Bodh Gaya, how does that program outcome is different from the program outcome of a student who is doing 2-year full-time MBA through CUET? And when I say program outcome, I just, let me clarify. I mean that in terms of intellectual outcome, in terms of personality outcome, in terms of professional outcome, in terms of employability outcome, in terms of academic outcome, right? So please share your views on that.
Thank you so much for offering this. Thank you so much for offering this this podium. I mean, to discuss some kind of insights of particularly from IIM Bodh Gaya. As for the outcomes, particularly speaking, we look over the holistic students' opinion. It's not like only we look onto the academics, but the kind of academic rigor which we have from the very first year at IIM Bodh Gaya is much different from any of the institutes, because we try to revamp our syllabus every 6 months. You understand? It's not like a syllabus which is there for almost, let's say, 5 years, 7 years, has not been revamped. So we take an industry input and we try to develop a kind of academic rigor with respect to that. So we have kind of a industry boards which come into the into the course design, not only the academicians which designs the board, because when we talk about the academicians, we just simply, okay, some sets of questions are there, so some problems are there, you give the problems, they solve it, and that doesn't work out when it comes to the industry, right? So a kind of a direct interaction with the industry happens at the undergraduate level. I think that's kind of phenomenal. The board has given to us, to design the course, number one. Number two is the course curriculum. When we see the course curriculum, we trying to make the students more aware from the wider perspective. When I say wider perspective, in academics, we particularly see into 4 to 5 majors, particularly the finance, the marketing, the operations management, the human resource, the strategy. These are 5 measures we look on to. Rather than that, we make it, more prominent in terms of a kind of thing like, how you develop your own strategy. We teach, in terms of pedagogy. If you look onto the pedagogy, it's not like a kind of assessments which a general, institute, which we traditionally do. It's kind of an assessments which is an end-term examinations plus, more importantly, the assignments which we give. And the assignments are again a kind of, sometimes the industry comes up, they give their assignments. We put on to the students, the faculty. Let me tell you, in the IIM Bodh Gaya faculty, they have a huge consulting projects that comes up. Though we are in Bihar, but still we have a huge consulting from the government sector as well as the private sectors. So these projects are again delivered to the students to some extent. We also know the expertise, but in a way what happens, the students get accustomed, right? Dealing with the real-time projects. Then what happens is, they try to develop a kind of this thing. So these assignments comes into the picture. We do kind of simulations, which is again a part of it. So the Harvard Business Publishing develop kind of simulations which comes up again. So we try to give some real-time problems. Again, it's a kind of a simulators we develop that a faculty itself develops, and then they need to solve the problem. For example, from the finance perspective, because I am a faculty in finance, I can tell more about finance. The fund managers, how do they do? You you deposit money in the mutual funds, right? And then you try to see what is the growth. That's typically a fund, how the fund manager is evaluated, or, what we do is, we create a dummy funds, right? We create a dummy funds. We have an investment club where the IPM students are directly involved, and they try to see how their knowledge which has been, in the classroom knowledge is getting converted into the real-time practical, solving the practical problem. So we develop kind of that, and what happens? Nothing like, they don't get a money out of it. What happens is when they face the interviewers, they can speak the real-life experience rather than talking about the concepts. So we teach in that level. So first is the academic rigor which we have, we develop from the industry, number one. Number two is what we develop a kind of assignments, which is a real-time assignment. It's not like an assignment which is there for 20 years. 5 to 15 years, not like that. Real-time assignments. Government from Bihar gives many assignments to us. Right from planning development, planning department, healthcare department, the central government agencies like Indian Oil, NTPC, they are the permanent clients to us. They give assignments. Private sectors give assignments to us. So we develop a kind of that kind, and then we try to, I can simply quote some of my students who directly come to me, right? They go to all faculties, but I can quote some of the things. They come to me, they have written one case that would be, you can understand an IPM student writing a case which a faculty does, and that will be published that will be hosted in the HBS website, Harvard Business Publishing website. Can you understand an IPM student doing that? Faculties to take time to do that, but a student at the IPM level is doing that. This kind of opportunities. I am saying this IPM student, these kids, whichever college they are in, they have got that kind of talent, but it is how to nurture them, how to bring it in the forefront. That's important. The person, if the institute gives that kind of ecosystem to bring it in the forefront, then makes the difference, right? And then we try to create some kind of opportunities, like an entrepreneurial opportunities. I will talk more about the entrepreneurial opportunities at a later point of time, right? That will again create some kind of difference, because in India we see most of them are a kind of job seekers. If you start I can see this room to be a kind of a half empty, but I tell you, in a kind of a MBA kind of, we create some kind of placement going on. Suppose there is a company which comes up with an 18 lakh of package, CTC, right? You see a long running queue. Why? Because unfortunately we are a country where we most go for a job seekers. But in our institute, we try to nurture to make some kind of, we have IPM students, I tell you, IPM students who run us startups in our campus. And the startups is not like a small startup, they're creating revenue of around 10 to 15 lakhs of rupees per year. A student of 19 years, 20 years of age, I can quote them, you can see the website, they are creating that kind of entrepreneurial startup kind of thing, which is still at a very nascent stage. So that's that kind of rigor we create in terms of academics, in terms of overall, whatever you have raised. So this is the thing which we try to put up.
And I'm sure that while I was going through the website, I'm sure that the student can find ample opportunities to engage themselves in the recreational activities, theatre, drama clubs,
there is a debating society, there are investment clubs, there are cultural societies. We have our annual fest which has been recognized, sponsored by very big corporates, because the sponsorship only comes when they think that there is some kind of visibility. Right? Because corporates will pay you. They will not pay for simple sponsorship. They will only see when that kind of visibility comes. So you understand the kind of, each and every day some kind of activities are going on, recreational activity. Actually that kind of activities boost their academics to some extent, because they have something, their personality improves in a way. So I think that probably because from representations from 21 states itself shows the kind of diversity and inclusiveness which we
Okay.
have.
So, sir, my next question is, it's a very popular question and parents, students ये question ज़्यादा मतलब पूछते हैं हमसे. Since IIM Bodh Gaya is celebrating the first decadal anniversary, right? It was established 10 years ago in 2015. तो सर द एक वर्ड है जो बहुत ही पॉपुलर वर्ड है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली इन इंडिया मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वी एक्चुअली इवेलुएट आर एकेडमिक आउटकम विद द फाइनेंशियल आउटकम और द रेम्यूनरेशन पार्ट, जिसमें हम ROI रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करते हैं कि हमने कितने पैसे खर्च किए प्रोग्राम में एंड व्हाट इज द रिटर्न वी आर गेटिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्लेसमेंट्स, इन टर्म्स ऑफ सैलरी, राइट. तो मेरा एक सवाल होगा सर आपसे, ये सवाल ये होगा कि क्योंकि IIM Bodh Gaya हैज सीन 8 batches of MBA and the first IPM batch going out, it's our last year. I just want you to share your insights for a student. एक बच्चा जो 2025 में IPM प्रोग्राम में एडमिशन लेना चाहता है and he is going to graduate in 2030. उस बच्चे के लिए, because audience, I would like to share that, since I was going through the website of IIM Bodh Gaya and the placement, information I was getting into, I could see that the top 25 percentile student, they are getting an average salary of around 19 lakh rupees per annum, right? Top 50 percentile, their average salary was around 17 lakh rupees per annum. मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ सर, जो बच्चा 2030 में ग्रेजुएट करेगा, MBA करेगा थ्रू द IPM प्रोग्राम, राइट, उस बच्चे के लिए what do you see, what could be the ROI? That is the first thing I would like to ask. And second follow-up question would be, what do you look for in a student who aspires to get into IIM Bodh Gaya for his management education? So the first and second part you can answer.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, we are at 1500 in numbers, right? Number also matters, right? How do you place them? And I also been, everyone is not that intellectually that much capable, or there is some kind of mediocre students. We need to take care of that. It's not like we just simply throw out of the mediocre students. First is, how many companies are you bringing in the campus? That's number one. Let us talk the second part a little later, maybe the packages and all that ROI part, that little later. So how many new logos are you bringing in the campus? Good logos. When I say logos, means good logos, good companies, right? Second part is, how many old logos are there, existing companies who have already recruited, and how many new logos you are adding into your profile each and every year, right? And what is your CTC, cost to company, and what is your, the thing is ROI, related to ROI. We have 250 odd logos right now, 250 companies recruiting our, every year visiting our campus, right? Each year we are adding 20 to 30 companies on an average, and this number is also increasing, not 30 companies. Last year we added 25, 27 companies, this year probably 32 companies specifically, right? So each year we are adding new companies. So next 5 years, to add your, to answer your question, by 2030 maybe 150 new logos will be added, more than that, if it's good by an average of 30 companies. So we'll be having almost 400 companies coming to our campus by 2030, right? So if you want to place them, first to understand the placement possibilities, 1500 students, next 5 years we don't have any expansion plan in terms of students, so let the students remain constant. For each company, if they take 3 students, complete placements will be done, right? That's number one. Number two, if you see the CTC, our placement report is audited. So there is nothing like hiding any information, it's audited. If you see our placement reports, it's 19 lakhs, top 25%, top 25, 17 lakhs, median is around 16, 15 and a half, 16. We are growing at 10% CAGR. CAGR, we are growing 10 to 15%, right? And it is improving. And now if you see, the market is slightly bearish kind of thing, which has been there for almost 1.5 years. Because of the high inflation regime across the globe, you see, I've seen the United Kingdom and United States facing a high inflation regime. Still now it's better in respect to the global perspective, but in India we still have some kind of sluggishness. You understand the India is growing, right? We are expecting the placements to, in the industry to, take an upsurge, and still we are able to manage a 10 to 15% of CAGR in terms of the median and, top 25 percentile of the placements. Now, if it grows up to 10, on an average 12.5%, if you take on an average, it will grow up till 50% by next 5 years, right? And 5 years means, now if we say the top 25 or 30% is getting placed at 19 lakhs, again 50 percentile means, 50 percentage means it would be 30 lakhs. So you understand, by 2030, we at the worst level also we are expecting to reach a CTC of 28, 30 lakhs or more than that, little more than that. So you understand, by being a baby IIM, let me clarify, by age we are baby, but by the volume you can see 1500, right? So we are not a baby, yeah? So we are moving very fast, right? So by 2030, we are able to manage a 31 lakhs of CTC, right? Even if the market is sluggish, if the market booms up, then it's a different story, the good scenario. Even if the bad scenario, this is what will be happening. So if we go by that, we create that kind of ROI, you understand? So 30 lakh CTC, you understand, you calculate the ROI. We are not in an expansion move, we are already expanded. जितना करना था कर लिया हमने, 1500 स्टूडेंट काफ़ी है, अभी हमको concentrate करना है, right? So that already been planned right now, right? Now we are concentrating more on the PhD students, right? To develop a kind of a research ecosystem. So that's a different game altogether. But with respect to IPM and core MBA, we are okay, right? So you understand the ROI. Now coming to your second part of your question. Second part of your question was with respect to?
What do you look for?
What do we look for, yeah. So when an IPM student, see, IPM students basically in our examinations, the GPMAT examinations, right? We don't conduct any personal interview with respect to GPMAT until unless you are coming through some kind of a study in India or something like that program. We do a different interview process for that. But if you are a regular Indian domestic residential student, we have to take the GPMAT examinations, the cutoff is there, you will be creating a merit list, and then this through the merit pool you will be into the campus, right? We don't do a API, so we expect that candidate after +2, we deliberately don't do a PI. The reason is, we don't understand that particularly after +2, we are not expecting that they need to be, kind of personally very, sophisticated, something like that. We just only test their mathematical ability, the logical reasoning, or whatever the GPMAT course is all about, right? That probably is there, right? Now, once they come, we don't expect anything. We understand they are mathematically fine, they are the quantitative, logically they are okay. They come into the camp. Now it's our duty. They have the thing, we just only look onto their tenacity to learn, the eagerness to learn. That is the only thing which we look on. Thereafter, what we do is, we create, our course curriculum is already there, it's our thing. I tell you one story. Yesterday only I got a call from one of my students in IPM, which is in the second year going to the third year. Second year going into the third year, right? He has written his GMAT examination, scored something like 330 or something 335, a kind of that he was telling over in my call. He called me 10 o'clock, I told him that I will be calling him today. 330, you understand? It's not every year 2-3 people, and he's definitely go to abroad for studying. So you understand, automatically that kind of, the rigor develops within the student by seeing the ecosystem. So we don't expect anything out of it. To answer your question, what we expect is a tenacity to learn, right? Already they are bright students because they are into the campus, they are bright students, they have cleared the GPMAT, so that's taken care. Second thing is the tenacity to learn. Ecosystem is already in place in the campus, that will support, that will drive you automatically. This guy never thought of writing a GPMAT. The guy who has written the Harvard business case never knew about the case, what do we mean by case studies. Now once they are into the campus, automatically they participate in the case study, academic cases, not nationally but internationally. They go for a student exchange program at the IPM. Yes, last year, many students, I cannot recall the name of the universities, they spend in United States and Europe for almost 6 months, right, fully funded. Not at the MBA level. MBA level there is a different story. But at the MBA, the separate exchange program is there, student exchange program. Right? This I am talking about the IPM in third year. We have a rural immersion program, which I forgot to tell. Now you asked me the question, or I'm giving the answer. The rural immersion program, where students in the end of the second year, they go and work in some kind of like Melinda Gates foundations or something like, Tata foundations, where they understand how that the rural level, what's the problem and what's the intention. Because India is a kind of a country where you need to portray your product, whichever service company or in a manufacturing company you are in, you need to understand the rural segment. We teach at the undergraduate level, so that when they're into the corporates, they are easily more accustomed with this kind of problems, right? If you're into the FMCG companies, right, they need to understand, they need to sell some kind of products, right? They need to understand the society very well, the bottom of the pyramid, how the work is going on. So this all ecosystem is already in place. Now the students should have that, the thing which I was completely telling you, they need to understand the tenacity to learn. The rest will be taken care of.
Hi. Two things. You said that you have 1,500 students over there right now.
Right.
Is this the first batch? No.
Which batch? IPM you are saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, IPM is the first batch.
So there's been no placements till now.
See, placements, you cannot have a separate placement for IPM. What we have is a placement for the MBA, because they are merged with the MBA batch. They are sitting in the MBA class.
Okay. And I also remember you said that the highest was 31 LPA. Am I?
No, that is what I am expecting in 2030. The highest is highest I don't remember. It's there in the websites, around 23 something. Highest of high. The data I quoted is about 19 lakhs for the top 25 percentile, right? And I am saying that 31 LPA is about the top 25 percentile. That can happen in 30 if the industry trends follow the same.
Now my question is, what about the people who don't get into the top 25 percentile?
For getting into IPM?
Yeah.
See, attributes as a way you need to pass. See, when you ask for the attributes,
Not the quantitative. When there's a personal interview or a
we don't have a personal interview for the
just
judgment.
the test.
Yeah, that's the test.
So
No
just
JIT.
just to clarify, Indore, there is a entrance exam plus interview. For IPMAT Rohtak, there is entrance exam plus interview. For JIPMAT, which takes you to IIM Bodh Gaya and IIM Jammu, there is only written examination. There is no interview. So there is no interview for students appearing for JIPMAT, and hence your admission happens on the basis of the cutoff which you are able to achieve or clear, right? If I'm not mistaken, out of 400 marks, if you are above 305 or 310, I mean you clear the cutoff and you get into that college. That is the first thing. Second thing, just add to sir's point of view regarding the placement you asked. See, 19 lakh was the average placement for top 25 percentile.
Yeah.
For top 50 percentile, the average placement was around 16.8 lakh. For top 75 percentile, right, the average salary was around 14.5 to 15 lakh. And for the entire lot, the average salary was around 14 lakh, right? Now, sir ने कहा कि जब हम CAGR से increase करेंगे तो 19 वाले लोग 2030 में 2030
That
में
I understand.
average 30 lakh के आसपास पहुंचेंगे. Having said that, highest salary last year was around 35 lakh rupees per annum for IIM Bodh Gaya.
To add that one, you were asking about the placements, 100% placements. I tell you, I also, in the first part of that, when sir asked me that question, I have divided into two parts. First, I told that 250 logos coming up in the campus. You understand 250 logos means 250 companies. Now by 2030, we'll be adding more, barely 150 logos, so it would be 400. So for each student, if they take at least two or three students, everyone will be placed. Now at the present scenario, everyone is getting placed.
One
So
last question.
there will be more opportunity for placements maybe at 2030, because
One
we are not
last
going up
question.
to with the intakes. Yeah, please.
What?
Yeah.
And one last question, and I'm just carrying forward what the lady just said. For IIM Bodh Gaya, what are the main attributes that you guys see in a candidate? Main attributes.
For getting into IPM.
Yeah.
See, attributes as a way you need to pass. See, when you ask for the attributes,
Not the quantitative. When there's a personal interview or a
we don't have a personal interview for the
just
judgment.
the test.
Yeah, that's the test.
So for IPMAT Indore, there is a entrance exam plus interview. For IPMAT Rohtak, there is entrance exam plus interview. For JIPMAT, which takes you to IIM Bodh Gaya and IIM Jammu, there is only written examination. There is no interview. So there is no interview for students appearing for JIPMAT, and hence your admission happens on the basis of the cutoff which you are able to achieve or clear, right? You know, if I'm not mistaken, out of 400 marks, if you are, you know, above 305 or 310, I mean, you clear the cutoff and you get into that college. That is the first thing. Second thing, just add to sir's point of view regarding the placement you asked. See, 19 lakh was the average placement for top 25 percentile.
Yeah.
For top 50 percentile, the average placement was around 16.8 lakh. For top 75 percentile, right, the average salary was around 14.5 to 15 lakh. And for the entire lot, the average salary was around 14 lakh, right? Now, सर ने कहा कि जब हम CAGR से increase करेंगे तो 19 वाले लोग 2030 में 2030
That
में
I understand.
average
That I
30 lakh के आसपास पहुंचेंगे. Having said that, highest salary last year was around 35 lakh rupees per annum for IIM Bodh Gaya.
To add that one, you know, you were asking about the placements, 100% placements. I tell you, I also, in the first part of that, when sir asked me that question, I have you know, divided into two parts. First, I told that 250 logos coming up in the campus. You understand 250 logos means 250 companies. Now by 2030, we'll be adding more, barely 150 logos, so it would be 400. So for each student, if they take at least two or three students, or everyone will be placed. Now at the present scenario, everyone is getting placed.
One
So
last question.
there will be more opportunity for placements maybe at 2030 because
One
we are not
last
going up
question.
to with the intakes. Yeah, please.
What is the domain which is highly demanded by the 250 logos which have come?
I mean, I didn't get your
Which
question.
domain of,
Which domain?
Yeah.
See, now analytics is the boom. Which industry?
which
What-
industry, which specialization?
Finance and marketing to be specific.
Okay.
That's what the things are, trends are, right? HR is the human resource at the nascent stage is very difficult to place, right? At the nascent stage. But we are coming, some HR companies are coming up with HR profiles in our campus, right? But, you know, finance and marketing are most demanding. If you're an engineer, because see, placement happens after 5 years with the MBA. Operations is mostly kind of a, what you call engineering background you have, and then they get the preference, right? Right now, specific, if you look onto the traditional thing, this is marketing and finance, but analytics is the boom right now. So you have something like finance analytics, your profile will be really shortlisted. Marketing analytics, HR analytics, shortlisted.
And just to add to that, you know, IIM Bodh Gaya has a digital business management program as well, and I could see a lot of prospect over there.
And I say this digital business management program, this time the placement report is not yet, has not come because the first batch which we are placing, maybe next 2-3 months we'll get the placement report. It is more demanding. People, industry is more requiring this digital business management program. This is apart from the core program, MBA program you have. So IPM, after 3 years, they can have a choice of selecting the digital business management or even the healthcare management, which are the other parts. So they have these 3 years to
Two
see.
questions. Yes, ma'am, please.
I
Okay.
understood that when you
So,
were.
we shall be taking
enlightening
last.
session. I just want to know that this IPM course curriculum, is it same at all the IIMs or is it different at IIM Bodh Gaya and IIM Indore and all that?
Largely
Just-
it's the same. But for example, if I can correctly understand, IIM Indore has a kind of trimester system. Three examinations in a year, right? We have a semester system and deliberately we have kept it. The reason is, first we want the students to cope up with the environment of the ecosystem. First 3 years we keep it semester. Largely the curriculum remains the same, but like, you know, we have kept like Indian knowledge system as one of the curriculum. So probably I do not know other IIMs provide or not, because the government demand is there, we want to keep it, right? Music is there in the curriculum because we also feel that, so I do not know how it is, but largely the curriculum remains the same. Yeah.
And the last question, sir.
Sir, my question goes back to mathematics, and the fields you mentioned are more popular. So you mentioned finance and marketing, you mentioned analytics, and you mentioned that HR is currently in a nascent stage. So now if I connect this to a maths/non-math student, this fields of basically financial management or analytics and digital marketing, how much of mathematics sort of plays part there?
You are asking mathematics in
Maths versus a non-math student coming into IPM program, how much of a chances in a financial management or digital marketing or analytics do they have?
so your question is with respect to what is the weightage I will give to
No, my question is, if in case there's a non-math student, when he comes to
the IPM program,
IPM
yeah.
program, does he or she have equal chance of getting into financial management? Equal chance not given by the college, equal chance in terms of the aptitude and the fact that the student has not done 11th, 12th mathematics, equal chance in getting into financial management, analytics, or digital marketing.
So I could rephrase your question. The question is, if a non-math student gets into IIM Bodh Gaya through GIPMAT, what is his prospect of coping up with the syllabus, right?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
In the field of mathematics, in the field of finance, in the field of analytics, and in the field of
Digital marketing.
digital marketing.
Let me come with finance first, okay? A person who do not have a commerce background in +2, right? We teach in that sense, right? They are aware of the accounting. Like, for example, in financial accounting, I don't teach kind of IPM courses. In initial say I take the PGP courses, but when I was IPM chairperson, I deliberately took IPM courses, right? Financial accounting first semester, when they come up, there are two differentiation. One is commerce, non-commerce. I classify as that because commerce, they know the debit credit. And I was also from a non-commerce, I was a from BTech. I don't understand till now what is debit credit. I understand it's a convention. So what we do is, we don't teach through debit credit. We frame the question in such lines like debit credit is a kind of convention. Why this is my right hand, this is my left hand. That's a convention, right? We teach through mathematical equations, right? Like what we called is accounting equation we say. So how, when the sales increases, what happens to the other part? So there is two types of entry. We teach like that. So there is an equal chance, so no problem in that. Now marketing. +2, what you will understand with respect to marketing? You have to develop the marketing skill in this thing. Come vis-a-vis the analytics. You don't have any what you call is the this mathematical background, right? You don't have mathematical background. Now with respect to analytics, what happens is, we teach some kind of courses like which is heavy in analytics, right? Some kind of operational courses, some kind of data mining, where we give programming, we give the codes, you run the codes and you see what happens. You try to develop that kind of thing. So equal chances. Once you come to the campus, there is no prospect. A person with non-finance background become compound, tend to take more finance rather a commerce graduate, commerce +2. A person with mathematics, non-mathematics take more, love to have more math. So once you come into the campus, we ensure that kind of ecosystem.
Thank you.
Okay, we shall be taking the last question. So, okay, so there are two. Can we just hand over the mic to? Okay, beta, please you ask quickly.
Good morning, sir.
And yeah.
So, I want to ask कि which one is better? अगर common admission test दे के हम IIM pursue कर रहे हैं और IP MAT अगर दे के कर रहे हैं, तो which one is better? क्योंकि मे बी जो मनी है और जो हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है वो कॉमन एडमिशन टेस्ट दे के वो ज़्यादा होगा और एक्सपीरियंस भी ज़्यादा मिलता है दे के कैट दे के.
एक्सपीरियंस कैसे ज़्यादा होता है कॉमन
सर क्योंकि 3 ईयर हमने जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इकोनॉमिक ऑनर्स किया,
ठीक है,
उसके बाद कैट दिया, तो MBA प्लस इको ऑनर्स का हमारा मतलब रहेगा एक्सपीरियंस.
ज़्यादा नहीं होता, एक्सपीरियंस कम होता है उसमें. आपको मैं बताता हूँ, अनटिल अनलेस आप वर्क एक्स आपके पास है, अनटिल अनलेस यू हैव वर्क एक्स, आपका एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होता. 3 साल आप IPM कर रहे हो, मान लीजिए बोध गया से, ठीक है, आपके पास वो रिगर बन जाता है. कहाँ पे? आप जब रिक्रूटर्स को फेस करते हो, आपका ऑटोमेटिकली जो काम किए हो आप, एक्सपीरियंस है इन टर्म्स ऑफ वेरियस एक्टिविटीज. इंटर्नशिप्स इज देयर, academic cases are there, many other things are there. I cannot say all the things right now. So all these things will give your high probability of getting placed because already you have done all these things in 3 years. Now if you are doing an econ honors in some institutes, now the question comes up, 3 साल के बाद क्या वो फैसिलिटीज आपको उधर मिल रहा है? अगर वो मिल रहा देन इट्स ओके, नहीं मिल रहा देन इट्स ड्रॉबैक. आई डू नॉट नो फ्रॉम विच कॉलेजेस यू आर डूइंग ऑन, आई डोंट वांट टू टेक एनी नेम्स और समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो वो आपके ऊपर है, यू अंडरस्टैंड. सेकंड, 3 साल के बाद आप क्या जॉब में जा रहे हो? अगर इफ यू आर गोइंग इन अ जॉब दैट विल गिव एन इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी, बट अगर नहीं जा रहे हो देन यू आर अ फ्रेशर अगेन. Rather fresher from an IIM Bodh Gaya into an MBA will give more added advantage over this thing, right? Yes. So that is what I can talk about. So उसमें experience आपको add नहीं होता है.
Okay, just to give you some facts, बेटा, आपका सवाल यही था ना कि सर, is it better to get into IIMs through IP MAT और GIPMAT entrance exam और through CAT, right?
हम differentiate नहीं करते हैं, ये तो हमको बता देते हैं, और companies भी, corporates भी differentiate नहीं करते. ये दो चीज हमको बता देते हैं.
Let me share a data with you. So right now at class 12th level you have 6 IIM for IPM program.
Yes.
CAT level पे you have 21 IIMs. IPM level पे you have 700 seats across all the 6 IIMs. CAT level पे you have 5,500 seats. IPM level पे you have approximately 24,000 applicants. CAT के level पे you have 3.3 lakh, 3,30,000 applicants. अगर मैं रेशियो निकालूं तो IPM में in order to get into any of the IPM seats in 6 IIMs, the ratio is 1/35. हर 35 बच्चे में से एक बच्चे का सिलेक्शन IPM में होगा, whereas CAT के थ्रू देखो तो रेशियो 1:60, हर 60 बच्चे में से एक बच्चे का सिलेक्शन होगा. So आप ही मुझे बताइए कि getting into IIMs through IPM is easy or through CAT is easy?
IPM is easy.
IPM is easy. Now coming to that point, coming to the part, it also depends upon which stream are you from. CAT में dominant stream are engineers, whereas IPM में it is open for everybody. For that matter, let me tell you the last year result. Last year 14 बच्चों को 100% आया CAT में, out of which 13 were engineers. 22 got 99.99 percentile, out of which 21 were engineers, and 99.98 percentile 30 बच्चों को आया, 30 बच्चों को, जिसमें 22 engineers थे, right? So, having said that, if you are from commerce background, if you're from humanities background, or even if you're from science background, and you're not that great in science, appearing for JIPMAT or IPMAT is any day better prospect into getting into IIMs than writing a CAT. तो इस चीज को अच्छे से याद रखिएगा, right? And the last question we will be taking. Last question, ma'am. This is the last question. Yeah.
Whereas I know the last application date for IIM Bodh Gaya was 17th of March, and now today we are having this session on 23rd of March. Now if I make up my mind for applying this IIM Bodh Gaya, then what is the way? How can I do?
Because JIPMAT, we don't have the control. That's a national testing agency we have. So I am sorry for that. We don't do all this kind. I do not know.
So right
That's
now
a
it
clear
was
cut,
either a waste for me this time, or I will have to wait for another one more year.
I don't. I will request you to have more sessions, this type of sessions, maybe in the upcoming year. That is the only thing.
Sure,
Transparency is there, complete transparency. We cannot take the application.
Sir,
in that.
actually
I don't-
earlier I was thinking about, actually this is in Bihar, and the state Bihar doesn't give a good scene in our mind ना, तो कि वहाँ जाना चाहिए नहीं जाना चाहिए, और नया है, एक ही अभी आपका बैच निकला है. आपका सुनने के बाद अगर हम माइंड मेकअप कर रहे हैं तो
आपका बता रहा हूँ ना, बिहार में आपको जो माइंड सेट है वो नहीं है, एटलीस्ट कैंपस के अंदर. मैं पता बाहर के बारे में तो आई कैन नॉट कमेंट रादर गुड और बैड, बट कैंपस के अंदर इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट कल्चर. देख के आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा वो आप बिहार में है कहाँ पे है. आपका बिल्डिंग का ड्रोन शूट.
Also, मैम, मैं आपको एक चीज बता दूं, it's in Gaya and Bodh Gaya, which is actually a historic heritage place, right? मैं आपको बताऊं, दुनिया की सबसे पहली यूनिवर्सिटी नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी उसके आसपास ही थी. And when you talk about Gaya and Bodh Gaya, it's an enlightened place for enlightenment, right? Lord Buddha, भगवान बुद्ध की धरती है वो. And especially when you go to the campus, मैं आपको आपसे गुजारिश करूंगा, go to the website and see the campus through drones.
बट सर
And
अब
look
क्या
at the
फायदा
faculty
है, या तो
profile.
आप डेट एक्सटेंड कराएं.
डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन है.
तो सर कोई फायदा, फिर तो हम उसको सर्च भी करें बार बार.
Ma'am, let's hope for the best. Otherwise, मैं आपको बाकी सारे form updates will be offering you, right?
Okay, thank you sir. Thank you sir.
So this was the last question.
I will take your question. Probably if time doesn't permit, I can take the question offline. Or yeah, I
Yeah,
can take
so
it.
we can do one thing, sir, and that student, beta, sir
I
will be
can
here.
sit there.
We'll
I
be because another panel is waiting, right? So we'll come downstairs.
Talked
and you can-
about the ROI.
Sir,
I talked about the ROI.
Sir, just 1 minute. Sir, I'm sorry for the intervention. We can take this question offline because the another panel is actually waiting. तो आप sir से one-to-one बात कर सकते हो once we are downstairs, right? So, dear parents and students, we come to the closure of this session, and I hope this panel interview was beneficial for you. Did you make some, benefit out of this session? Yes or no? Was this session of some value to you or not? Right? So thank you so much for your gracious presence, and thanks a lot, sir, for
Thank you so
enlightening
much.
us with
Thank you so much.
with this particular session. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramzan, and thank you so much, Binit sir.